Tapos, dito po, sa conflict of interest provision ng RA 6713, Section 3, it is defined, conflict of interest arises when a public official or employee is a member of a board, an officer, or a substantial stockholder of a private corporation or owner, or has substantial interest in a business, and the interest of such corporation or business or his rights or duties therein may be opposed to or affected by the faithful performance of official duty. Ngayon, sabi ni Mr. Kalida, wala naman daw conflict dahil hindi naman daw niya under itong mga iba't ibang opisina kung saan siya may kontrata. Nakalagay dito, definition ng divestment. A public official or employee shall avoid conflicts of interest at all times. When a conflict of interest arises, he shall resign from his position in any private business enterprise within 30 days from his assumption of office and or divest himself of shareholdings or interest within 60 days from such assumption. Ito yung sinasabi niyang and or daw. And ang applicable dito kay Mr. Kalida kasi officer ka na, shareholder ka pa. Hindi mo ba naisip yun? Anyway, dito siya ngayon mapupusoy. According dito sa Administrative Code of 1987, Section 35, Powers and Functions, the Office of the Solicitor General shall represent the government of the Philippines, its agencies, and instrumentalities, and its officials and agents in any litigation, proceeding, investigation, or matter requiring the services of lawyers. So in short, kliyente niya lahat ng mga opisina kung saan may kontrata itong Vigilant Security Agency. Maliwanag ito. Huling-huli ka sa bitag dito, Mr. Kalida. Anyway, I will ask the opinion nitong mga resource persons natin after this. So, ngayon, para lang mabilis, can I ask the Civil Service Commission, ano ba ang opinion ninyo? May conflict of interest bang ginawa o may violation of the law ba na nagawa itong si Mr. Kalida o wala?
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Your Honors. We have submitted our position paper on the issue, Mr. Chair. In our position paper, we stated there that the present law, RA 6713, needs amendment to be strengthened because we believe that this law has inherent weaknesses that will not automatically make the person liable in case a conflict of interest arises.
Okay, but naintindihan ko yung difficulty sa position ninyo. Pero itong situation na to, magprangkahan lang po tayo. Based on the Administrative Code, yung Solicitor General, siya yung abogado ng lahat ng agencies ng government. Ngayon, itong Vigilant Security Agency na kung saan siya ang majority shareholder ay may kontrata dito sa mga agencies na ito. Meron bang conflict of interest doon o wala?
Your Honor, under the law for conflict of interest to arise, that interest in the corporation must be opposed to or affected by the faithful performance of duty.
Yes.
That's why I was saying earlier it's not automatic. It has to be proven. Because it
Yes.
will be opposed to or affected.
Kaya nga.
By the
Kaso nga,
faithful
abogado siya
official duty.
ng mga agency. Tell me, maapektuhan ba o hindi? Kung sakali may problema dun sa kaso, ay dun sa kontrata, paano yun?
In that case, Mr. Chair, I will say that it will be affected.
So, precisely. Di ba? Okay. Salamat po. Ngayon, alam nyo, pinatawag ko tong, si Mr. Kalida, dahil OSG nga siya. Kaso, nininervyo siguro yung mama, kaya na lang na abogado. But, kasi kung ganun kabuluktot kung ganun ka-twisted yung kanyang interpretation ng batas, talagang no wonder nagkawindang-windang yung ating bansa. Pinalala niya, sinira ng anong amo niya, pinalala pa niya. Ngayon, the Office of the Ombudsman, o DOJ na lang, DOJ.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. For the DOJ, we're still under the process of evaluating and studying the proposed bill, Your Honor. But the department lauds the meritorious objectives of the proposed bill in maintaining professionalism as well as in maintaining the highest ethical standards for public officials and employees.
Okay. Now, I will ask you the same question. In relation to this specific example na sinet ko, kasi this is relevant. Gusto natin na amyendahan yung batas at palakasin. Yung ganitong kaso, sa ngayon, sinasabi ko sa inyo, may violation ba to? Wala.
Your Honor, this is not the official position of the department, but I agree with CSE that the conflict of interest may not be it is not automatic that there is conflict of interest. However, because there's the parameter set by law, which means that the interest of the corporation or the business is, or the rights and the duties of the person therein is opposed to or may affect the full performance.
Kaya may affect. Ikaw yung abogado ng korporasyon, tapos may kontrata ka na ikaw yung presidente at shareholder. For that matter, 100% ownership kasi family-owned yan eh. Tell me, Attorney Abellano, maapektuhan ba hindi?
In that case, Your Honor, it may seem that, it may appear that there could be conflict of
Yes,
interest.
so that's good enough. Naintindihan kita. But that's good enough. And I admire you na nagawan mo ng soft landing yung opinion mo. Can I ask now the Integrated Bar of the Philippines? Okay.
Morning, Your Honor. Can I just comment, but not specifically in relation to the case of the Solicitor General, because it's possible that this will reach the IBP as an ethics case.
Mm-hmm.
So can I just respond as a...
Hypothetically.
Yes, hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
Well, of course, the Solicitor General is the lawyer of government, Your Honor, and
I'm sorry.
the lawyer of government
Yeah,
is the Solicitor General, and as such, lawyer is involved not only in litigation, is also involved in contract review and enforcement of the contract should the contract be violated by the private contracting party transacting with government. So, for instance, in the ethics of lawyers, we avoid not only actual conflict of interest, we should also avoid potential conflict of interest. So that as a lawyer, you should be able to anticipate if a particular case or a particular contract can actually cause you to be in a conflict of interest situation.
So yan ay kung may ethics yung abogado.
Case, the Supreme Court has been known
Yes.
to actually sanction lawyers
Okay.
who place themselves in a potential conflict of interest situation.
Sana naman ipadisbar nyo na. Di ba?
No comment
Anyway,
on that, Your Honor, because it
Oh.
might reach us.
Sige.
Yeah.
So, di ba, consistent dun sa statement ni Attorney Abellano. Di ba? Kasi may contract review. Part ng trabaho niya being a lawyer of the government agencies, talagang mandated siya to review contracts. Yung kontrata siya may-ari ng kumpanya na yun. Palagay ko maliwanag na yan sa mga kababayan natin. Kung hindi pa maliwanag yan doon sa ibang resource persons natin, either natatakot kayo sa posisyon ninyo or nagsisinungaling kayo. So, can I ask the opinion of the representative of UP College of Law?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Yes.
The UP Law Center. was requested through the Institute of Government Law Reform to comment on the amendment.
Yeah, okay.
And this is our opinion po that the amendment of exerting undue influence in government dealings for one's benefit or personal gain is also considered conflict of interest is may not be necessary because conflict of exerting undue influence or the gaining of personal gain is already covered under the other laws under the regime of public accountability.
Okay. So, duly noted. But in relation to this specific example, meron violation?
I'm not authorized to
No,
speak
no.
in the,
Well, I am asking you personally, not as a representative of the UP College of Law, pero yung mga estudyante nyo siguro nakikinig din kung ano opinion ni Attorney Minyosa.
Yes, po.
Yes, there is.
Hypothetically, sir.
Hypothetically.
Your Honor, since the investment is required,
Uh-huh.
either if you occupy a position in a private business, or if you have if you own shares or have a financial interest in a private business, it's within the required number of days, 30 days for a position and 60 days for ownership. Or financial interest, then hypothetically po, yes.
Okay, yes. So that's good enough, ma'am. And so maliwanag do sa at least ma'am yung mga estudyante nyo would be proud of you. Anyway, so dito sa kasong ito na incidentally ay we will be filing appropriate charges against Mr. Calida. So in relation to Senate Bill number 1924. Okay. So si Ms. Raisa Robles would have a something to say about this particular information as well. Ms. Raisa, you are recognized.
Good morning. Senator Antonio Trillanes, Chairman of the Civil Service, Government Organization and Professional Regulation, Senator Risa Hontiveros. I was invited to attend today's hearing as a journalist and resource person, and so I will be sharing my views as a journalist. Frankly, I don't even know why I'm here. I was assured by a Presidential Communications Office official that nobody reads my blog. In 1989, 29 years ago, I witnessed the making of a groundbreaking law, one that lawmakers thought would curb corruption. They had no illusions about cutting corruption down to zero, as one top government official insists today that he could. They just wanted to reduce it drastically and punish those who violated the law. The country was then coming out of the most corrupt regime in the Philippines. The regime had left the government bankrupt and most Filipinos very poor. And so, lawmakers made a law, Republic Act 6713, called an act establishing a code of conduct and ethical standards for public officials and employees to address this twin problem. Our history has demonstrated to us so dramatically and painfully that corruption keeps most Filipinos poor. What should go to citizens is often diverted to the pockets of a few politicians and their crony businessmen. Has RA 6713 made a difference? The results are mixed. No less than a sitting president was convicted for violating RA 6713, and a sitting Chief Justice of the Supreme Court was impeached. Ironically, President Joseph Estrada was among those who signed RA 6713 into law. I know that because I was covering him at that time. Today, removing public officials for violating this law has become more frequent, even routine. However, RA 6713 has gaps that clever officials have exploited. One of those gaps is the definition of conflict of interest. Another gap is something I have long hoped that lawmakers would plug. So I'm taking this opportunity. RA 6713 punishes both private citizens who bribe officials and officials who accept bribes. But you know what? We have no law punishing public officials who bribe media men, especially with state funds. Such transactions put journalists in a conflict of interest situation. Time and again, lists of newsmen on the payroll of public officials have surfaced, but officials cannot be charged, nor can newsmen complain, because there's no law against it. You look at the revised penal code, there is no law punishing public officials bribing media men. And you know what it's called? Coffee money. You know, they call it coffee money, or for transportation, or for the boys. Anyway, I thought I would mention this as something I hope lawmakers would think about. Now back to conflict of interest provision of RA 6713. The present provision defines conflict of interest this way. Conflict of interest arises when a public official or employee is a member of a board, an officer, or a substantial stockholder of a private corporation or owner, or has a substantial interest in a business, and the interest of such corporation or business or his rights or duties therein may be opposed to or affected by the faithful performance of official duty. Mr. Chairman, you propose to add the following sentence to this subsection. Exerting a due influence in government dealings for one's benefit or personal gain is also considered conflict of interest. Mr. Chairman, when I was initially invited to appear before this committee, the thrust was to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the conflict of interest of Solicitor General Jose Calida, arising from security service contracts between national government agencies and Vigilant, Investigative, and Security Agency, Inc., which Calida continues to own and control, although his son is now the CEO. Among the clients of Vigilant are NEDA, National Anti-Poverty Commission, Department of Justice, National Parks Development Committee, House of Representatives, PAGCOR, and National Electrification Administration. These companies awarded Vigilant 14 government contracts worth a total of 261 million in just 1.5 years. By contrast, before Duterte's election, it took the company 10 years to gross 134 million, while Calida, now the Solgen, was running the agency. 10 years, as opposed to 1.5 years under his CEO son. Maybe his son is a much better CEO? Or was there something else that changed? The only thing that changed was that Calida was back in a government post. But this time, he had the ear of no less than the president, who is also a personal friend. Did that count? Yesterday, I tried asking Liza Masa, the newly resigned chair of the National Anti-Poverty Commission, 2 questions. 1. When Liza Masa signed the contract to engage Vigilant as the Commission's security agency, starting this January, did she know that Calida was behind it or owned it? Two, if she knew, why did she sign the contract? Just by way of background, Vigilant was already the security agency at the commission before Masa took over. But Kalida was not in government then. Miss Liza Masa gave me this statement as her reply. There was already a bidding process before my time. The recommendation is to continue the contract renewable yearly, subject to satisfactory performance in the agency. Notice she did not answer my question whether she knew Kalida was behind the agency or still owned it. Perhaps she might answer you, Mr. Chairman, if you subpoena her. 2 months ago, I wrote on my blog that 6 of the 14 government contracts worth 61 million that Soljan Kalida Security Agency signed very likely put him in a direct and continuing conflict of interest. Why? Because if there is any problem with these contracts, if there is any problem with the security agency, guess who the government lawyer is who will handle it? That's right, the Solicitor General. These contracts have the Office of the Solgen as the standby lawyer should any conflict arise between the government agency contractor and Kalida Security Agency. The other 8 contracts of Vigilant were with government-owned and controlled corporations and the House of Representatives. GOCCs have the Office of the Government Corporate Counsel as its standby lawyer in contract disputes, not the OSG. Well, the House of Representatives is full of lawyers, so they don't need outside help. When I reread Chairman Trillanes' Senate resolution on the original investigation of this committee, however, I realized that Soljan Kalida is in a direct and continuing conflict of interest with not just 6, but with all 14 government contracts signed by Vigilant starting July 2016, when Kalida became the Solgen. I did not realize that until I had read the Senate resolution. Coincidentally, it was Soljan Kalida who placed himself in this direct and continuing conflict of interest situation by filing and then winning the quo warranto case against Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno. Let me explain this and how this now ties in with Senator Trillanes' proposed amendment of RA 6713, which has never been amended before. The chairman of this committee has proposed adding that exerting undue influence in government dealings for one's benefit or personal gain should be considered conflict of interest. What does undue influence mean? The word undue is used 3 times in RA 6713. Section 4 discourages all government officials from giving the wrong perceptions of their role as dispensers of undue patronage. Section 4 also cautions them to not dispense or extend undue favors on account of their office to their relatives. And Section 7 lists the giving of undue advantage to anyone as a prohibited act. But nowhere does the Code of Conduct use the phrase undue influence. Still, the phrase is well established in Philippine jurisprudence, but only in cases involving last wills and testaments of a testator or someone whose property is being transmitted through a last will and testament. Let me just read out to you 2 definitions of undue influence established through court decisions. I'm taking this from the Philippine Law Dictionary of the late Court of Appeals Justice Federico Moreno. In the case of Anojado v. Boncalos, undue influence connotes the idea of coercion by virtue of which the judgment of the testator or person writing out his will is displaced and he is induced to do that which he otherwise would not have done. The case of Abad Santos versus Abad Santos elaborates that undue influence must in some measure destroy the free agency of the testator and interfere with the exercise of that independent discretion which the law requires the testator to possess as essential to a valid testamentary disposition. Now just substitute the word government official for testator, and you see that the same meaning can be used to help define undue influence by a public official. In the case of the Solicitor General, and I am referring to anyone who occupies this post, undue influence acquired a special meaning after Solgen Calida won the quo warranto case against Sereno. The Supreme Court decision on quo warranto recognized that, and I quote, the Solicitor General has a prerogative in the institution of an action for quo warranto. But the court hastened to dissuade and allay the fear that the ruling on the availability of quo warranto would allow the Solicitor General to wield a sword over our collective heads. Nevertheless, the Solgen can wield that power against any government official or employee. Just as the office of the President has been used to accumulate ill-gotten wealth, it is not beyond imagination to have a Solicitor General. And I'm not referring specifically to Solgen Calida, who might use the power of quo warranto for selfish ends. Because of this vast power, I submit, Mr. Chairman, that whoever occupies the post of Solicitor General has the potential of asserting undue influence. And when it is done for personal gain, it falls within the ambit of conflict of interest. And how does one establish personal gain? When a public official, most especially a Solgen, and or, together with his family, own 51% of a company which lands a government contract in any agency. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Maraming salamat po sa inyo, Ms. Robles. Finally, can I ask the opinion of the Ombudsman regarding both the Senate bill in consideration and this specific case of Mr. Calida?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Your Honors, this representation of the Office of the Ombudsman was under the impression that the opinion or comment would be in relation to the proposed amendment. In view of the to avoid preempting the resolution of an anticipated or a pending case, it is but proper for the Office of the Ombudsman to not comment on the actual case of Solicitor General Calida, but we have a number of comments on the proposed amendment with the kind indulgence of the
So can you just submit to the committee your position paper in relation to the bill, those comments? Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
And I understand totally that you cannot comment about anything in relation to an existing case. But hypothetically, kunyari ikaw ay abogado ng isang ahensya ng gobyerno at may-ari ka ng isang kumpanya na nanalo ng isang government contract doon mismo sa ahensya na yon. Ano ang meron bang kaso ng conflict of interest doon? Hypothetically?
Hypothetically, Your Honor, if it could be proven that the contract or the interest would be opposed to or affected by
Yeah.
the faithful performance of duty,
So in that particular
and all
case,
the elements are there would be conflict of interest.
so in that case, yes. Kasi as a
Provided it could
government
be-
lawyer, ikaw magre-review ng kontrata. Right? So, regardless kung may kung disadvantageous to the government yun or not, eh, kung may-ari nun eh. Paano palagay mo, may maapektuhan ba yun?
In that particular case, Your Honor, there would be a
Conflict of interest.
particular
Yeah.
person involved that would jive into the actual case of Solicitor General Calida, and that I think the office, with the kind indulgence of the chairman, could not comment on the example of a government lawyer reviewing a contract.
Okay. Anyway, that's fair enough. So, with that, ay, no. Sige, ma'am. Senator Risa, ma'am.
Thank you, Chair. Before the Chair suspends the hearing on this particular bill, I'd just like to make of record that at the proper time, Chair, I will propose an amendment to that important additional definition of conflict of interest that the bill proposes, so that it would read for one's benefit or no, let me start from the beginning. Exerting undue influence in government dealings for one's benefit or personal gain. And then I would propose later, Chair, to add, including the benefit or gain to immediate family, is considered conflict of interest. Meron pong, and I'm sure the lawyers here know better than me, merong pong important jurisprudence ng Supreme Court, yung kaso po ng Teves and Teves versus Sandigan Bayan, kung saan mababasa doon itong excerpt. Even if the ownership of petitioner Edgar Teves over the cockpit were transferred to his wife, still he would have a direct interest thereon because, as correctly held by respondent Sandigan Bayan, they remained married to each other from 1983 up to 1992. And Section 143 of the Civil Code declares all the property of the conjugal partnership of gains to be owned in common by the husband and wife. Hence, his interest in the Valencia cockpit is direct and is therefore prohibited. And ito po yung ipapanukala ko, Chair, at the proper time, dahil we must let legislation reflect jurisprudence. Salamat, Chair.
Maraming salamat, Senator Hontiveros. With that, we will suspend the consideration of Senate Bill number 1924. So those concerned resource persons who are no longer resource persons to the other Senate bills on the agenda are hereby excused. So before we move on, may I ask the committee secretary to administer the oath of some of the concerned resource persons.
For those involved with the continuing professional development, bills and resolutions, may we please request the guests to please stand. Those involved with the CPD issues only. Yes. Yes, okay. Kindly raise your right hand. State your name. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this committee investigation? Okay, thank you.
So, so that we can have a more systematic hearing, we'll deal first with the other bills before we deal with the more controversial CPD issues. Okay, we are now going to consider Senate Bill number 1630, the act regulating the practice of microbiology in the Philippines and for other purposes. Ganito na lang po, no? Briefly, I will ask the resource persons, then you can state for the record whether you agree or support itong measure na to or not. Then, yung mga amendments po, yung mga proposed amendments can be tackled later on at another scheduled na technical working group meeting. So, Civil Service Commission, Assistant Commissioner Ronquillo.
Your Honor, I have with me the copy of our position paper which we already submitted.
Yeah.
It states here that we support the bill.
Salamat po. Chet? Okay. BPRC? Chairman?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, we submitted our position paper with regard to the bill, and we agree with the proposed bill.
Salamat po. DOH? DOH? Yung DOH dito. DOH. Oo. Walang representative ng Department of Health. May nag-register eh. Oh, okay. The College of Home Economics, Food and Nutrition Science, UP Diliman.
Good morning po,
Yes.
Chairman. We submitted the position paper,
Yeah.
and we have just two comments for inclusion and some modifications.
Okay. We'll incorporate all of those comments and suggestions during the technical working group meeting. But do you support or this bill or not?
Yes.
Yes, you support. Thank you. Philippine Academy of Microbiology.
Morning, Your Honor. The
Yes,
Philippine
sir.
Academy of Microbiology fully supports the proposed bill.
Salamat po. Philippine Science of Microbiology. Philippine Society of Microbiology.
On behalf of the Philippine Society for Microbiology, we strongly support this bill.
Okay. Thank you. So, with that, we will suspend the consideration of Senate Bill 1630 and schedule a technical working group meeting to flesh out those details and incorporate those concerns and other issues. So those resource persons for Senate Bill 1630 are hereby excused. Thank you. We now move to Senate Bill number 1890, an act regulating the registration, licensure, and practice of quantity surveying, providing funds thereof. Civil Service, Assistant Commissioner.
But again, Mr. Chair, based on our position that we submitted, we support the bill.
Salamat po. PRC, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, based on our consultations, initial consultations with some professional boards, we support the bill, but we have some reservations. We submitted our position paper, Mr. Chair.
Maraming salamat po. Be assured na yung reservations na yan would be tackled doon sa technical working group meeting. Pagka walang meeting of the minds, I will not sponsor it on the floor. Ganun po ako. That's how I work. There should be a unanimity in as far as the proposed bill is concerned. Next is Philippine Institute of Certified Quantity Surveyors.
Yes, Senator, we fully support because we drafted that bill.
Salamat po. Kayo po pala. Philippine Institute of Civil Engineers.
Sir, Your Honor.
Yeah.
The Philippine Institute of Civil Engineers have submitted this position strongly opposing the bill.
Strongly opposing. Okay. Makati Development Corporation.
Mr. Chair, we, Makati Development Corporation, fully support the proposed bill.
Salamat po. Institute of Integrated Electrical Engineers of the Philippines. Sino po? Ha? Philippine Institute of Architects.
Yes, Your Honor. We have no objections as to the quantity surveyors having their own act to regulate themselves.
Okay. Salamat po. So, sir, ma'am, ano pong office kayo? Ay, yes, the board, PRB. Yes.
From the Professional Regulatory Board of Civil Engineering under the Professional Regulation Commission, we oppose the bill.
You oppose. The PRC, you approve it with reservations. So, ito na po yun.
Based on our initial consultation,
Yes,
Mr.
okay.
Chair.
So, okay, the challenge would now be for the Philippine Institute of Certified Quantity Surveyors to talk with the other stakeholders so that this bill can move forward. Okay? Otherwise, deadlock ito. Sayang oras natin. Okay? So, with that, we suspend the consideration of Senate Bill number 1890. The concerned resource persons are hereby excused. We now move on to Senate Bill number 1891, an act regulating the regulating and modernizing the practice of medical technology in the Philippines. Civil Service.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, generally we support the bill, but we have some comments, at least in two aspects.
Okay.
First, there is a need to harmonize the provisions of this bill to certain provisions of RA 10912, which is the Continuing Professional Development Act of 2016.
Okay.
Aside from that, Mr. Chair, we have reservations on the proposed increase in the salary grades for the medical technologists. It will first, it might result in wage distortion,
Okay.
and it may violate the constitutionally prescribed salary standardization in government service.
Okay. Duly noted, Assistant Commissioner. PRC.
Mr.
Chairman.
Chair, in general, the Commission supports this initiative to upgrade and modernize the medical technology practice.
Salamat po. The Philippine Association of Medical Technologists. PAMET.
So on behalf of the Philippine Association of Medical Technologies, definitely we are strongly supporting the bill for the reason that the bill has been there for the last 49 years and needs to be updated.
Salamat po. Philippine Society of Pathologists. Pathologists.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Your Honors. The Philippine Society of Pathologists oppose some of the provisions in the bill,
Okay.
as mentioned in our position paper.
Okay. The Philippine Nurses Association. Okay. Anyway, may position paper yung PNA. So maganda lang yung timing pang restroom break nila. Sakto lang. So, Philippine Medical Association.
Your Honor, I think that bill was not sent to us. We're here for the CPD, sir. Just for
Okay.
clarification.
Sige. Anyway, there's still time. The committee secretary will give you a copy of Senate Bill number 1891. Now, in view of some opposition to the measure, the challenge now, again, would go back to the Philippine Society of Pathologists. You will need to harmonize your proposed bill with some existing laws, and as well as to make sure that there won't be overlapping jurisdictions of profession. Okay, so once that's done, then we can have the technical working group meeting. Okay, because if we will proceed with the TWG with those diametrically opposed opinions, then it would be a waste of time. Okay, so we are now suspending the consideration of Senate Bill number 1891. Next, is Senate Bill number 1892, an act professionalizing the practice of audiology. Civil service.
Your Honor, our position paper is already on the way, but we support the bill.
Salamat po. At least for the record, naririnig natin. Then yung sa CHED, they informed us that they will be submitting their position papers for all the concerned bills. PRC, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, the Commission supports the bill, although there might be a need to revisit some of the provisions.
Salamat po. Hard of Hearing Group. Okay. Ito na. Dr. Lago, Philippine Society of Audiology.
Your Honor, in behalf of the Philippine Society of Audiology, we fully support the bill.
Salamat po. Philippine Academy of Audiology.
On behalf of the Philippine Academy of Audiology, we fully support the audiology bill.
Salamat po. Okay. Let's go back to the Hard of Hearing Group. Sir. Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Regarding for the position paper on audiology bill.
So, do you support, sir, the bill?
Yeah.
You support?
Based on our discussion with hard of hearing person, we support making audiologists to become professional and licensed based on the following points.
Okay. So, salamat po. We'll just get a copy of your position paper.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Viray. Next is Dr. Rimulya of the Philippine Society of Otolaryngology and Neck Surgery.
Good afternoon, sir. The Philippine Society of Otolaryngology Head and Neck Surgery supports the proposed bill.
Okay. Dr. Ramos of the UST Medicine and Clinical Audiology. Sir.
Good afternoon, Your Honors. We support the professionalization of audiology with strong reservations, and we'll be submitting our position paper regarding that, sir.
Okay. So you support, but with
with
proposed
reservations
amendments?
on amendment, proposed amendment, sir.
Okay. Wala ba nag-oppose? Wala. So we can proceed with the technical working group meeting, and we will harmonize all of your concerns. Okay. Salamat po. With that, we suspend the consideration of this bill, Senate Bill number 1892. Those resource persons concerned are hereby excused. Salamat po. Okay. Now we move to increase in salary. Increase salary. Okay, ito na. Senate Bill number 473, an act increasing the minimum salary grade of public school teachers from salary grade 11 to 20. And Senate Bill number 135, an act upgrading the minimum grade level of teachers from salary grade 11 to salary grade 19. Ano ba mas gusto nyo? 19 o 20? So, okay, let's move first to Civil Service, Assistant Commissioner Ronquillo.
Your Honor, we support any measure that will uplift the morale of everyone working in government. However, we have to be very cautious in not violating constitutional provisions pertaining to other aspects, including the standardization of salaries of government people. Your Honor, we are submitting our position paper on the matter, stating our reservations on the issue.
Salamat po, Assistant Commissioner Ronquillo. We move to DBM.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. DPM has reservations on the proposed bill in view of its impact on the overall expenditure program of the government and the existing position classification system. We shall be submitting our position paper in this regard.
So you oppose?
Yes.
Si Attorney Leo, DBM ka rin, ano? Okay. Kasi consistent yung mga position niya. Hindi. Um, DepEd, please. Hindi, okay lang yan. Nasanay naman na tayo. DepEd.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. The Department of Education will be very happy to have salary increase for teachers, provided it is within the general framework of the entire government in terms of salary increase.
Okay. Salamat po. Alliance of Concerned Teachers.
Magandang hapon, Senators. The Alliance of Concerned Teachers ay matagal na po kaming nananawagan sa gobyerno tungkol dito. At napapanahon, matagal na pong utang ng gobyerno sa kanyang mga guro na bigyan ng may dignidad na pasweldo at kabuhayan ang mga kanyang bayani na tinatawag. Kaya dapat po sana wag na harangan ng Department of Budget and Management yung pagsasabatas nito. Bukas po ay pagsisimula na po ng World Teachers Month. Regalo po sana sa mga teachers natin.
Salamat po. Huwag natin man i-con yung DBM kasi sila ay napag-uutusan lang. Actually, pag gusto kasi ng presidente yan, mangyari yan. Normally, pagka ayaw nila, isasangga nila yung DBM. Di ba? Pero, kung gusto, may paraan. Kung ayaw, may dahilan. Ang dahilan yung DBM. Di ba? So, yun ang ano natin. Para lang maliwanag to. But we will keep on pushing. We have pushed, alam niyo po yan, and we will continue to push for this. Philippine Public School Teachers Association.
We commend the good senator for endorsing or introducing the House Bill, Senate Bill 473. Matagal na pong hirap ang mga guro. Yung pong sweldo namin, pagkatapos ng kaltas ng mga mandatory deductions, kasama pa po yung pagbabawas ng mga deductions ng almost 200 plus private lending institutions accredited by DepEd. Ang naiuwi na lang pong sahod ng mga guro ay gasashay na lang ang size. Sachet size na lang. Kaya pag uwi ng teacher, dadaan sa palengke, hindi na sa grocery, at ang bibili na lang niya, sachet lahat. Sachet, toyo, mantika, kape, gatas, shampoo, lahat nakasachet. Sachet size salary for the same size economy of the Philippines.
Yeah.
That is why the Philippines is known as the sachet capital in Asia. Ganun lang po, kaliit ang sahod ng mga teachers. Wala na po talagang mapupunta ng mga guro kung babanggain pa naman ng DBM o ng presidente na ipinangako niya nung eleksyon na agad-agad pag umupo siyang presidente ay tataasan ang sahod ng mga teachers.
Well, we empathize dun sa plight po nating mga guro. Alam nyo, may train law pa, hindi nyo na-mention, di ba? So, dagdag sa pahirap yan.
Mr. Chair.
Ano lang po, no? Ito lang naman kasi ang iniisip ni Mr. Duterte. Nangako na nga siya nung kampanya eh. Tapos tutuparin pa niya, abuso naman kayo daw.
Sobra na.
Ganyan ho yan. Di ba? So, well, ganyan ho yung sitwasyon. Nagpaloko po tayo, kaya manloloko po yung nakaupo. Pero, again, tutulak po natin ito. Hindi natin ito bibitawan. Ako, I believe, yung teachers natin, ito yung backbone ng ating lipunan. Dahil kung ano kami ngayon is because of how our teachers taught us nung kabataan namin. So kung medyo maayos kami, ganun din yon. Credit sa inyo. Kaya ang ginagawa natin is to alleviate yung mga pahirap. Alam nyo yung mga accredited lenders na yan, no pa yan, actually sindikato po yan. Ano? Hanggang sa makakita tayo ng isang DepEd secretary na kaya banggain yung mga sindikato na yan, eh talagang papasanin at papasanin yan ng mga teachers. So, sige po, regardless of the position of the DBM, we will move forward dito sa panukalang ito. So, for the record ho, ano hong gusto nyo? Naitulak natin yung 19 o yung 20? Kailangan lang ho kasi on record, baka kung sabihin natin.
Well, for the Alliance of Concerned Teachers, Mr. Chair, Actually, hindi na po kami nangangap ng ganun kataas. No? Ang amin lang po ay matugunan yung batayang pangailangan ng mga teachers, considering also the needs of the entire Philippine, of the people. So what we are proposing is a meager 30,000 pesos as entry-level pay for our teachers. But we support salary grade 19 or 20 of the Senate.
Ito kasi, no, it has to be consistent with the salary standardization. So, it needs to be specific. At malalaman ko kasi, doon sa committee report ko, based on sa stakeholders, kung ano yung gusto ninyo, 19 o 20. For the record.
Well, for the record, Mr. Chair, siyempre doon kami sa mas mataas. Kasi alam
Ano nga ho, for the record?
grade 20, Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
salamat po. Salamat po. Kailangan ko lang ho kasing ilagay sa record yun. So with that, we will suspend the consideration of Senate Bills number 473 and 135. So the concerned resource persons are hereby excused. So finally, mag-schedule po tayo ng technical working group meeting. Okay. Finally, we will tackle the CPD law. So, may panukalang batas ho, Senate Bill number 1817 at 1853 amending the CPD law. So, just for the record, Civil Service Commission.
Your Honor, we support the bill, but we reserve the right to submit additional inputs after we finish our study on the standards being undertaken by our fellow ASEAN countries.
Okay.
This is in relation to the forthcoming ASEAN integration. We should not be left behind, Your Honor.
Salamat po.
Thank you.
PRC, Commissioner Reyes.
Thank you, Senator Trillanes, and good afternoon, Senator De Veras also. On the proposed 1817 bill regarding the proposal on the proposal of to exempt the new professionals from taking the CPD in the first 3 years, we support that. And on the proposal to maintain the proposal to have a 5-year cycle rather than a 3-year cycle, after consultation with the CPD councils and the boards, it was unanimously proposed, and that is the position of the PRC now, to maintain the 3-year cycle for the professional identification cards. And we would like to add that there are also these are also incorporated in the bills or in the laws of the different professionals. Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you. The Department of Health.
Good afternoon, sir. Good
Yeah.
afternoon, ma'am. I wish to express that the Department of Health official position paper po is still under clearance of our principals. But just the same, we would like to express that we are supporting the provisions mentioned in SB 1817 and SB 1853 with
Okay.
some inputs.
Thank you. Chair, wala. Mr. Basilio, Alliance of Concerned Teachers.
Magandang hapon po ulit, Mr. Chair. Based on our national consultations held for the past 2 years, the position of the Alliance of Concerned Teachers is no, because we are calling for the repeal of the CPD law of 2016.
So, salamat po. Ms. Manalo.
Honor, we call for the scrapping of the CPD law.
Okay. Dr. Lam? Wala.
Sorry.
Ay, Dr. Lam. Yes, hindi na-highlight.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting us once again for the CPD Senate hearing. We are for amendment of the 10912 since we have submitted our position paper since the first Senate hearing.
Okay. So, duly noted. Architect Kulkol, PIA.
Yes, Your Honor. Excuse me. After implementation of the law, a lot of loopholes need to be plugged. We would like to recommend PRC, if they would take us into accounts, this is for our profession, the OAAs. At the moment, only the APOs have access. We would like the PRC to, given the infrastructure that they have right now, which cannot cope up with the CPD, we would like them to reconsider using all the other organizations that are accredited. We can be deputized to provide the necessary information and structure for at least for our members. That means that's a few people less to worry about, so long as you have us deputized to certify these are our members. These members have taken these CPD units, and you recognize that. Because our aim is to holistically develop professionals, not only compliance. We would like our professionals to be at par with when we do have the integration. And the only way to do that would be not complying with the law, but rather looking into your professional stature, your specialization, and let you track your own professional career. Thank you, Your Honor.
Salamat po. Dr. Salvani of the Philippine Nurses Association. Yes.
May I read the position paper, Your Honor, of the Philippine Nurses Association? Good afternoon, everyone. The Philippine Nurses Association continues to support Republic Act 10912, an act mandating and strengthening the CPD program for all regulated professions. Since 2012 until 2017, the PNA National Office alone has provided a total of 3,765 seminars that are either free or discounted. At present, free seminars are being given to nurses in some of the PNA's large regions, such as our PNA Regions 3, 4, 6, 7, and the Cordillera Administrative Region, while all other PNA regions offer low-cost seminars. Crucial to the proper implementation of the CPD law is the accreditation process of applied seminars to PRC. I am a member of the CPD Council of the Nursing, the PR Board of Nursing. And this position paper was made possible through the recommendations of the 20 regional governors, which they have gathered from all the nurses all over the country. In addition, PNA
Excuse me, ma'am,
supports...
just to abbreviate the proceedings lang, ano? Can I just get the position of PNA for the record for
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Senate Bills 1,
Yes, sir. In terms of accessibility and affordability, once more, it has to be emphasized that these are the main purpose of the PNA's online CPD program. We already have launched the online...
Yes, ma'am. I totally understand. But just for the consideration of Senate Bill 1817, does PNA support
Yes,
that?
sir. We
Yes,
fully
okay.
support, sir.
What about Senate Bill number 1853, ma'am? It's also another amendment.
In terms of amendment, Your Honor,
Yeah.
we from the PNA would like to recommend that the processing for the program accreditation will be lessened from 45 days.
Mhm.
Yeah, through
So,
PRC.
well, we don't need to amend the law for that. Well, anyway, salamat po sa position ninyo. Pero ito yung sa akin, ano, marami hong complaints doon sa natatanggap namin sa opisina are actually nurses. So what you're saying is nagkakandak na kayo ng may mga discounted tsaka online courses na kayo.
Yeah.
So saan sila kailangan pumunta? Sa website ng PNA?
For the online, sir, it's still not fully implemented because
Uh-huh.
we still have to apply
Uh-huh.
for local accreditation.
Oo.
Now, what we would like to appeal from you and our PRC is if the CPD units from the online program will be increased so that nurses from the far-flung areas of the country could avail of, like in Mindanao, and also for our OFW nurses.
So, in relation to that, kasi naparating sa akin yan, na ang credits daw na gustong ibigay, 5 units lang.
Yes, 5 units per year,
Per
which
year.
is equivalent to 15 units.
Oo. So, ilan ho ba dapat? 30, di ba? 45. For 3 years. Ilan ho ba kayo? 45.
45.
So, ang binibigay ho na suggestion is for OFWs and yung mga nasa far-flung areas, baka pwedeng full credits ang ibigay. Tapos yung mga hindi naman, baka pwedeng ibigay at least 10 units na accreditation para less hassle yon. Online lang, makukuha na nila. At least 10 units. Tapos kung attend sila ng convention, ilang units ba yon?
It depends, Your Honor.
Minsan 15 units na po-provide kayo.
More
More
than.
than. Okay. So, yung kasi yung mga OFWs, kailangan nila ng access dito sa CPD programs na to, and by virtue of their circumstances, pwede dapat full credits para hindi naman sila mahirapan. Ano ho, ma'am? Sige po, Commissioner Reyes.
Okay. Ito pong patungkol po sa kanya-kanyang kanya-kanya pong operational guidelines yan. And the CPD councils would propose for their own operational guidelines, including the number of units that will be taken online, on seminars, or whatever. So it's up to your council po to propose to the commission. But before you propose, make sure that it is approved and you have a general consultation nationwide and to all your stakeholders. Kaya nga po, kasi po there is no one size fits all if we talk about the operational guidelines, sir. And if I can just go further, yung pong concern naman ni Architect Kolkol kanina po, we already recognize the problem on the applications, on the vast evaluation process and requirements that we need to do with from the CPD councils. So we required additional evaluators to be submitted by the councils to the commission for our approval as long as they are qualified and they have the necessary background for competency. Then they can be added as official evaluators for the programs, for the CPD providers. Kasi nga po, ang dami po ng mga applications that we're receiving. And we are not also limiting these works and these additional evaluators and even the monitors from the members of the accredited professional groups. We are also, it's open. It's open to anybody who's very qualified and who is willing to serve, because for now we don't have any budget for CPD, who is willing to serve for free in doing the evaluation. Ang kapalit po noon, pag tumulong ka sa PRC, you have corresponding points for CPD.
Yeah.
So yun lang po yan.
So,
And we're
maganda
giving,
po yan.
and we're giving a lot of points and considerations to the OFWs. We already have at work experience. Yung at work, kung may bago kang experience, ina-narrate nyo lang po yon, then you submit it to the CPD Council. You don't even have to go to a seminar or anywhere else. Isasama nyo lang po yun sa self-directed. Kaya marami pong mga paraan para makakuha po ng CPD.
Ang assumption lang ho dito ay hindi dapat dadayain. Kasi pagka nahuli, pag na-audit ng PRC na may nandaya, babawiin ang lisensya.
Matatag po yung pangalan niya in the next renewal, doon po siya magkakaproblema.
So,
kasi po magkakaroon po ng pag marami po magkakaroon po ng random checking yung mga sinasubmit.
So,
pagka konti po, i-check po lahat yun, tapos in the next magkakatuos po doon sa next renewal nila.
So, yung proposition na yan is try to make it more liberal. I-entrust nyo yung mga professional na hindi sila mandaday. Professional nga sila. At alam nila na yung lisensya nila nakataya dyan pagka nandaya sila kasi ano yan, falsification din yan, may mga kaso ka pa dyan. So it's not going to be worth it. And alam ng professionals yan. And may ano ba kayo? Nadagdagan na kayo ng mga empleyado for that? For this CPD, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Chair, not for CPD because as of now, unfortunately, we haven't still received any budget for CPD. But we multitasked and used other venue related to PRC for CPD purposes.
Sige, pero may proposal na kayo.
Yes,
Ilan yung kailangan ninyo? Magkano per year?
Well,
Just to address yung backlog.
For 2019, Mr. Chair, we proposed 32 million.
32 million? Ang nire-request nyo, hindi binigay ng DBM? So, sige, we will find a way ngayon sa budget season. We will find a way na mabigyan kayo nun para ma-complement nyo yung staff nyo for the CPD law. Kasi ang problema, madalas, nade-delay yung accreditation ng programs, yung accreditation ng units, tapos inaabot na sila. Pero sa ngayon ba, meron na kayong nadi-disapprove na nag-renew ng lisensya? Wala pa rin? Wala. So, yung mga nagkakalat ng peking balita na merong nare-reject o hindi nare-renew, hindi po totoo yan kasi nasa transition period tayo. We will bend backwards para ma-accommodate natin lahat until we can get our acts together. So again, growing pains ito, but people are getting more and more impatient. So kaya kailangan paspasan ho natin to make it efficient. Sandali lang po, tatapusin lang natin yung Professor Yolanda, ma'am.
Magandang hapon ho, Honorable Senators. In principle, kami naniniwala ng kahalagahan ng Continuing Professional Development Program. So mahalaga po yun. Ang problema ho ay yung nasa implementasyon. Yung isa, nakita namin yung unang problema ay yung short duration, yung cycle ng license. Kasi 3 years is too short. Kasi sa loob ng 3 years, mag-iipon ka ng halimbawa 45 units, inutang mo pa yung pambayad doon, tapos mag-iipon ka na naman para sa sunod na cycle. Kaya tingin namin sana kung pwede siyang taasan yung cycle from 3 years to 5 years.
Yes, ma'am. Ito kasi, ang sinasabi nga ni Assistant Commissioner Ronquillo, it should conform to the international standards. If the global standard is 3 years, then wala ho tayong magagawa kundi sumabay doon. Otherwise, pagka hindi natin to ginawa, ang tingin sa professional natin is standard kayo, hindi kayo up to par. So yun po, for as long as it conforms with the international standard, then so be it. Ngayon, along those lines, meron yung 120 units yung accountant. Ano ba yun? Parang masyadong may aberration 120. Ano ba ito? Hindi ba pwedeng babaan yan?
Meron yata tayong accountant dito, sir.
Accountants. PRB? PRB kayo? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. In accountancy, the required number of units, you might be surprised, is 120 units for 3 years. And that is the highest of all the professions. Now, why 120? Because that's actually demanded, or that's actually the level of units internationally. If we are going to be part of the MRA, then we have to follow that.
Alam ho ba ng mga accountants yan?
Yes.
Alam, kasi sila yung nag-voice ng complaints
Well, yung nag-voice ng complaints are those who are not practicing. Okay, so I don't know if we can actually classify practicing and not practicing, because there are professionals who are not practicing their professions, yet they still want to renew their licenses. And because they want to renew their licenses, they have to comply with the 120 units.
Yes, by force of circumstances.
Yes.
But what we're trying to talk about here is the necessity of the 120 units. So what you're saying is it cannot be reduced?
It cannot be reduced if we will follow international
Okay.
standards.
But sa akin dito, nasa inyo yung challenge to make sure that your members understand.
That's what we're doing, yes.
Oh, yan po ano kasi wala tayong magagawa. Nag-CPA kayo, talagang yun yung
we have to
kailangan
keep up.
sundin.
We have to keep up with international standards.
Oo. So, kayo na lang ho mag-explain. Kasi kami dito, we were able to lobby for the lowering of the number of units for some of the professions. Pero for some reason, yung CPA, ano, okay?
Parang walang ano.
So, sige.
We
And,
agree to that.
kung ano, in relation to the environmental planning, sa inyo, sa PRC, yung because of the law that we passed, may 5-year ano yan period. Pero kasi meron silang naabutan ng cut-off na mga those who took the exams but failed. I believe covered pa rin sila nito. They should be allowed to take a special exam or retake the board para kasi compliant pa rin naman sila eh.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
I think the Commission is amenable to that.
Okay. Sige, we will just coordinate with you in relation to that. So, sino pa ho ang hindi natin tatanong? Okay, sir, Mr. Mendoza.
Good afternoon, everybody. From the Alliance of Health Workers, and our position is that we already created the Alliance of Professionals for the repeal of CPD for 2016.
Repeal, okay. So, sige, sir, hindi, PMA.
Sir, Dr. Batak from the Philippine Medical Association, thank you very much for this honor, Senator Trillanes. We are happy that we are still supporting the original Act 10912, the CPD Act of 2016. And we don't only care for the doctors, we actually are doing the interprofessional CPD, which I think some of us already heard and included that we not only deal with only with doctors, but we also give CPD units to nurses, like medtechs, and even our midwives are also given. The only issue that we're actually encountering is the accreditation of this CPD with the PRC with regards to the regional offices. With regards to the main offices, Dr. Amam, we don't have any problem. But when they apply in regional offices, that's where the problem is. The other issue is also their budget. If you noted, the good senator, we didn't have this in the media. The self-directed learning, a lot are actually not aware of the self-directed learning, wherein they can actually have free or even just have to document what they learn, and that can be used as their CPD already without paying anything.
Okay, actually, ando dun sa batas, nando dun sa IRR nyo, di ba? Ando dun sa respective boards, tapos yung mga was this accredited, integrated professional organizations nando doon din. Ang problema lang kasi minsan sa kababayan natin ay mas naniniwala doon sa sabi-sabi, doon sa chismis kaysa tingnan lang yung website, ando doon yung self-directed. Di ba? Yun. And that would have solved a lot of these problems. Kasi yung mga nagrereklamo din sa aming opisina, nung sinabi namin na may ganon, naintindihan nila, ay, ganon pala. So sa akin, they went through all the trouble na yung pala, ilang click lang sa kanilang cellphone o kanilang computer, makikita na nila yung sagot. So, mas maganda i-spread nyo yung word about it. So, para matulungan. But still, yun nga, may clock talaga doon sa PRC. Yung ano, so, kailangan natin kumuha ng mga empleyado dyan, mga tao. No, so, i-koka natin. Next, nagsalita na si Mr. Basil. Sino pa? Sir, kayo na lang. Mr. Aquino.
We're from Integrated Council of Radiologic Technologies Philippines. I-concern lang po namin, sir, yung salary standardization din ng mga radtech dito sa Pilipinas. And kung pwedeng babaan din yung mga units ng CPD.
Ba't ilang bang units nyo ngayon? 45? Kasi karamihan ng professions 45. Ang kona lang natin dito is ano pang kunin niya?
Salary standardization.
Salary standardization. So it will require another bill po, ano? But it's not covered dito sa pinag-usapan natin. But yung iba yung concerns, siguro my staff will just coordinate with you. Tapos mabibridge natin sa PRC. Sino po? Sige po, sir.
Good afternoon, sir, from Philippine Association of Master Electrician. Nagkaroon na po kami ng usapan po ni Commissioner Yolanda Reyes po. Ang problema lang namin is, may problema po yung sa lisensya namin. Hindi siya masyado kilala sa PRC. Kaya ang reklamo lagi ng mga miyembro namin, mag-aaral pa kami ng CPD, hindi naman nare-recognize yung lisensya namin. Kasi ang TESDA nagpo-provide ng mga NC2. Tapos registered master electrician kami. Pagdating sa trabaho, registered master electrician ka, PRC license ka, ang hinahanap sa'yo, NC2 certified ka ba? So, ang problema namin, CPD kami na CPD, ang TESDA, NC2 lang. Tapos meron silang 5 years na certification, mas hard sila kumpara sa amin. Sa CPD po, wala kaming problema. Kailangan talaga ng isang professional yan. Ang problema lang namin, may lisensya kami pero walang silbi.
So, yung mga engineer ba, civil engineers, tsaka arkitekto, hindi kayo ang preference?
Hindi po.
Hindi?
Kasi wala naman po kami silbi. Sa lisensya po namin sa electrical, PE lang ang nagsasign and seal.
So, paano ba natin ma-resolve yan? That's a peculiar challenge. Sige. We will review your professional regulatory law. Tapos titignan natin kung paano natin mabibigyan kayo ng automatic na accreditation for that NC2. And titignan natin kung pwede nating makumpel yung ibang professions to prioritize yung may lisensya.
Yun nga po yung problema namin, sir. Kasi sa TESDA, naibenta nila yung NC2 certification. Ang PRC, hindi naman nabenta yung lisensya namin. Tapos pinag-CPD pa kami, which is 30 units. So, problema yun kasi walang trabaho yung mga miyembro ko eh. Kaya lang tahimik ang master electrician noon kasi, sir, ang master electrician is preferred sa barko. Ngayon, hindi na nakakasampa ang mga master electrician sa barko dahil sa ginawa ng nakalimutan ko lang yung sa SCTW na hindi na prepared yung mga licensed master electrician. Ang trabaho namin talaga is sa barko. Kaya tahimik ang mga master electrician sa CPD kasi kaya naman nilang i-provide ang CPD kahit ilang units pa yan. Kahit gawin pa nilang 150. Sa laki ng sahod ng mga nagbabarko na electrician. Sa ngayon, wala na kaming trabaho. Tambay lahat ng mga miyembro namin. Plus ngayon, pag nag-apply kami sa construction, hahanapan pa kami ng NC2. Pero nagsi-CPD kami. Nagbabayad pa kami ng professional tax receipt sa City Hall. So marami po kami bayarin pero hindi po maibenta yung lisensya namin.
Sige po, gagawa natin ng paraan, pag-aaralan natin,
Sir, meron kami pending law sa inyo, sir. May pending amendments kami sa RA 7920 sa inyo pong
committee.
Opo.
Sige.
So yun po sana yung solusyon.
Sige, duly noted. Sige po, Engineer Bage. Yes.
We support any changes of the law provided it should be on the benefits of the stakeholder. Now, just to answer the question, because it is always the question during our CPD advocacy. There is a problem in the civil service law indicating that NC is the main priority rather than the license. Meron po merong parang clause doon that the NC passers through TESDA is allowed to work in the government rather than a registered master electrician. Siguro you can talk yung kung ano po yun. And besides, we already conduct series of lectures about CPD. And we explain why 45, why 30 for the RME, and we provide at least one free seminars so that those who are members na hindi kayang mag-provide ng registration to attend national conferences ay meron din po silang points to earn. And we're happy to note that the CPD Council for EE is always accommodating our all requests, no, with the proper given due credits dun sa aming seminar. Kaya so far medyo maganda po, pero ang point lang din kung mapapababaan pa yung 45, di sige lang po. Basta well-crafted ang lahat ng seminars and conferences na ipoprovide ng organization. Thank you po.
Salamat po. Anybody else? Sir? CPD. Yeah.
Good afternoon. Tama po yung sinasabi ni Engineer Bagay about the implementation of the seminar program under the CPDEE. I'm a member of the CPDEE. So sa lahat ng mga applicant in terms of program, sunod po kung ano yung sinasabi doon sa matrix. Na even those na nagsasubmit ng self-directed, like yung mga seaman, we are approving yung lahat ng kanilang application in one cycle. So as far as our experience sa CPDE, we don't have problem in terms of implementation because as also our APO sa IAEE, we have been also providing free seminars. So sa aming chapter dito sa Makati, starting in January up to last August, lahat po ng registration in terms of seminar, maging sa mga engineers and electricians, lahat po yon free. So itong mga chapters po namin, doon sa iba nag-organize how to come up with a program na sponsored by the partners, and some others, we also provide a very reasonable price para doon lamang sa food and snacks. So on behalf of the CPD Council ng EE, sinusuportahan po namin ang 10912. Okay, thank you very much.
Maraming salamat po. With that, this committee hearing is hereby adjourned. Thank you.